I got a heck of an awesome computer score today. This was a gift from a coworker, sort of a thank you gift for moving data off this computer onto the new computer that she bought to replace it. This is a mid-2012 MacBook Air, and it works absolutely perfectly. And she just gave this for me, just, as thanks for harvesting the data off it and helping get her new Mac all up and running. This is so awesome. It works just perfectly. Now, I really didn't know what to expect from a mid-2012 MacBook. I figured, Apple probably doesn't support it anymore. If I knew that this ran 10 Mac OS 10.8 when I got it. I figured, if I'm lucky, maybe it'll run 10.9, 10.10. Well, I wiped the hard drive clean, or SSD, actually, in this case. This has a 64 gigabyte SSD because it's an Air. I wiped the disk clean, reinstalled macOS 10.8, let it go through the motions of running all the updates, and imagine my amazement when I discovered this computer that I got for free, that's perfect working, is still supported by Apple. This thing upgraded itself to Mojave 10.14. I cannot believe it. I got a free, perfect working MacBook Air that's still that's still supported by Apple, and it's running Mojave 10.14, the latest version of Mac OS 10. That is incredible. So yeah, I think, this was a really generous gift, although in her own words, she said that if I didn't take this, this was just going to sit in a drawer for the rest of eternity because she had no further plans with it now that she got her new Mac. So yeah, this is just awesome. I'll go into the About This Mac page here. You can see we are running Mojave 10.14.6. And I looked it up online, and apparently this will support 10.15. So this thing's not even, this 6-year-old Mac isn't even at the end of its support line yet. This is just awesome. This is the first Mac I've ever owned that is supported by Apple while I own it. It isn't already out of date by the time I get it. That's just incredible. But here's the specs. It's an 11-inch MacBook Air, mid-2012. It's got the 1.7 gigahertz Core i5, 4 gigs of DDR3 RAM, Intel HD 4000 graphics. It's got the non-Retina display. This was before the Retina, so it's just a 1366 by 768 display. The 64 gig SSD. And yeah, what an awesome gift. My first currently supported Mac. Oh man, my newest Mac before I got this was my white plastic MacBook with the screen with the dead backlight. I took the screen off it, so it's just a half a MacBook now. But it does work. No battery in it. The battery started bulging, so I disposed of that. But so it's a half a laptop that you have to have plugged into the wall all the time, but it does work. But that thing only goes to 10.7 Lion, and that was my newest Mac before I got this. So this is just a treat, and this thing really does work perfectly. Even the battery is still good. Oh yeah, Mojave doesn't show you a time estimate anymore, but when I got this and it was still running 10.8. which I guess is no, not Snow Leopard, Mountain Lion. When this was still running Mountain Lion, which is how I got it, when I unplugged it from the wall after it was done charging, it estimated 5.5 hours of runtime. Now, Mojave, my guess is probably sucks battery life a lot faster than Snow Leopard would have. As it is, I've only been using this thing for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it's already used 10% of the battery power, so maybe now that it's on Mojave, I'll only get a couple hours out of it, if that. But that's no matter to me. I've got a friggin' currently supported Mac that runs the very latest version of Mac OS. This is so awesome. So yeah, I wiped it all clean. This is a brand new installation of Mojave, and I didn't realize how seamless modern Macs can upgrade. I got this thing running Mountain Lion, and I figured, geez, you know, what kind of hoops am I gonna have to jump through to get this to whatever's the newest version it can run? But after I did a clean installation of Mountain Lion, a little notification popped up that said, upgrade to Mojave. And I'm like, okay. I just clicked it and it took care of everything on its own. Downloaded it and installed the update. Which is just awesome. So let's go into system information here. See if there's anything else here. So it's a MacBook Air 5.1. It does have Thunderbolt. It's got a Thunderbolt port on it. This was among the earliest Macs to get a Thunderbolt port. Apple had only introduced Thunderbolt a few months before this Mac was manufactured. But if we look here, it's got the backlit keyboard. You might be able to see the backlit keyboard there. That is awesome. I forget if my PowerBook G4 has... No, I don't think my PowerBook G4 has a backlit keyboard. The large G4, the 15-inch and 17-inch, they had backlit keyboards, but not the 12-inch. But this has a backlit keyboard, which is very nice. Big trackpad with, whoa, I just brought up a new feature that what knowledge I have of Macs is it goes up until like early Mac OS 10, up to like 10.4, and then it severely drops down after that. So it's going to be a learning experience using this thing. I'm going to learn a lot about modern Macs, and that's going to be good because I look after a couple of modern Macs at work. So this is going to be really nice. But yeah, it's got the backlit keyboard. It's got the multi-touch trackpad where you use 2 fingers to scroll and pinch to zoom and stuff like that. It's got one little dent right here, and it's got a little dent on the bottom. Not sure what would have caused those. Maybe this thing was dropped a couple of times, hit the corner of a table or something. If it did, it's impressive that it survived, but Macs tend to, especially Mac laptops compared to other laptops, they just seem to be quite durable just because of the all-metal construction. So if we look here, we've got the MagSafe 2 charging port. I did get the charger right here. So here's the original 45-watt MagSafe 2 adapter. The only thing that's wrong with it is that part of the cable that plugs into the computer is exposed. You can see the sheathing, so I'm just going to have to take some electrical tape to cover that up, and then it'll be fine. We've got a USB port, headphone jack. That must be a built-in microphone, that tiny grill. And if we look on the other side, there's your Thunderbolt port. It's a Thunderbolt 1 port. And another USB port. So this was before they got rid of ordinary USB ports, which is nice. And open it back up, and it pops right on. The only issue this thing has, and it's not even a real issue yet, the screen hinges are a little bit loose. They're fine up until you open the screen to about here, and then they get pretty loose. You can put the screen where you want and it stays put, but the slightest touch sends it back. If I have it right here and pick the laptop up, the acceleration of me picking it up makes the display snap backwards. So the hinges are a little bit on the loose side near the end of the fully open position, and that seems to be a common problem on these as far as I've heard, as far as I've read. So it's not a massive, it's not a big deal on this thing yet. It still works as intended. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Not a terribly long video because it's a modern computer. It's a MacBook Air. There are, millions of these in use every single day. Just about, anybody that has a Mac Most of them probably have a MacBook Air, so there's really nothing special about this at all. But it's really special to me because it's my newest Mac that I have now. It's my first Mac that's new enough that it's still actually supported by Apple. And this thing is just going to be a treat to use. I can see some cases where this would be useful, for example, to bring along instead of my ThinkPad if I want a small, light laptop, because this thing is super light. It only weighs a little over 2 pounds versus my ThinkPad T420S, which weighs 4.5 pounds or something like that. And of course, it's 11 inches instead of 14, so it's quite a bit smaller. So yeah, this could be a very useful computer to me, and it's gonna be fun getting to know the Macintosh operating system in its current modern form. So yeah, there's my new, free, perfect working, great condition, mid-2012 11-inch MacBook Air, fully updated to macOS 10.14 Mojave. What a generous gift from my coworker. Even though this was worth, nothing to her anymore, it's still worth quite a lot to me, somebody who, can't afford stuff like this normally. So yeah, a real nice treat. Really, really happy to have this. And that's about it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.